Welcome yet again to PETA's Perspectives. I'm PETA. These are my perspectives. Let's get into this one. So, what makes your city unique, or maybe different, or as something that called you to it? I'd love to hear about that because each one is different, and they can definitely be pretty unique and stand-out-ish, if you will. So, I am in Savannah right now, and one of the things is there's squares here. Sorry, I'm a little distracted and driving again. Somehow this always seems like a good idea, but clearly rarely is. This is Broughton Street, nice little walking area and shops. But James Oglethorpe, fun little history lesson coming your way. Back in 1733, I think. This is one of the it's an old city, but he formed a whole bunch of squares. Like that's Washington Square. So they're not exactly parks. I guess one that could be a potato thing, but here's one of them. They're all super nice and have their own like unique, aspects to it, but some similarities as well. So today there's 22 squares. Originally he built or designed 33, 24 were built, 22 survived. And it was one of the first cities to actually have like a grid, like a city plan, like a layout. Because if a lot of the older cities, like near where I'm from, there's Portsmouth, New Hampshire, Portland, Maine, Boston. They're just kind of, I don't want to say cart paths, but it was definitely not a grid. Here's another square right here. It definitely wasn't the thought out plan that it is now, where you go to a place like New York, for instance, and they're city blocks. And where I went to school in Boulder, Colorado, and squirrel moment. That's Abe's. That's an awesome place to bring your dog, get a drink and stuff. Anyway, so in Boulder, a lot of the areas, like numbers go one way and street names go the other way. So it's super easy to find out. So you have to go like 28th and Arapahoe or something. Here's a bigger square. You know exactly where it is and where you're headed. So we'll get out here in a minute and stop at some. This is Reynolds Square. You can see the statue. That's the pink house. Very touristy sort of place, if you will. But yeah, let's go find a place to park. We'll walk around a couple and show you my favorite part of town. We'll be there in just a minute. All right, so as I mentioned, Oglethorpe, James Oglethorpe, that's his namesake. It's one of the beautiful road here, and that's Colonial Park Cemetery right there. As you can see, wow, never mind. Frame rate's different on that, so you can't really. But anyway, that's another one of the squares. You can see all the palm trees and the majestic, like they're ancient oaks with the Spanish moss hanging off of them. I don't know if you saw that bus that just passed us. That's they do a lot of tours and a lot of ghost tours. I don't know if it's the most haunted, but arguably one of the most haunted cities in the country, because the whole area was basically built on a burial ground. Like there's like a lot of Confederates are here. Unfortunately, it's got a dark history. There's like the slave trade was pretty nasty here. There's a lot of not good people, so there's some not happy spirits around. So that's something. But there's a ton of, like, there's another, you can see it up there. There's another bus, tour bus going around historic Savannah. But anyway, there's a little square up here. We're gonna go park and check that out. So, as you can see, this is Calhoun Square, this is kind of one of the more basic ones, if you will. And keep in mind, this is the middle of January right now, so foliage isn't really out. But you can still get an idea. It's It's gorgeous here. Like those are flower. If you can see it a little bit, those are flowering out there. Another tour bus. But this is a pretty common layout. Like there's a big church right over there, a lot of row houses, and some streets with other row houses. That's Abercorn. That's one of the main roads that goes through. There's a whole bunch of squares on this street. And back in the day, I don't know if they still have them, but there was like a state building of sort. Yeah, right over there. You can see a bell. There's like a state building, some sort of official government building of sorts. So it was almost like each little square was its own little city of sorts. But you know, it's just peaceful here with all these squares. A nice place to sit and under these massive ancient oaks with the Spanish moss hanging off of them. That particular one's a power pole. But let's go check out some more. So here's another thing that several of them have, is a big statue of sorts. It's amazing. So that says, this is Pulaski Square, I believe. It says Savannah 9th, October 1779. Or this is the Pulaski Monument, rather. There's little, you know, readings around, and you know, similar to the other one, there's just some gorgeous properties around it. This is one of my favorites, personally. Again, with the big oaks, the Spanish moss hanging off of them. But this one's on the, that's intersection there is Gordon and Bull, I believe. So let's go see which square this is. Big dog over there. It's Monterey Square. So that's another fun thing, which was a big selling point in moving here. As you saw in the previous videos, we have 2 dogs now, 2 Great Danes, one big one, both puppies, one big puppy, one little puppy. And it's like incredibly dog friendly around here. So something to consider. Although, which we'll get to in a little bit, it gets hot here in the summer. So I hear. We're like in the heart of the south. We're in southern Georgia, and it gets real hot in the summer. My understanding, tempers get a little short, so the crime rate does go up in the summer, which unfortunately is kind of understandable. But something to consider. And there's another little reading over there. So this is Forsyth Park, which is definitely, I think, the most iconic part to Savannah. It's like a marine memorial. There's a globe and anchor down there, but it's just absolutely gorgeous with these big oaks. And there's a fountain. This is the first time I've ever seen it with it not on and running, but I will insert a picture there of it running right here. It's probably the most iconic. If you ever looked up Savannah on, you know, Facebook, Google, or what have you, it's going to be a picture of that. I'll include that here. And here's the other side of Forsyth Park. It's just right over there is kind of the same size green area, and you know, they have activities. I think there's a farmer's market here, people playing fetch with their dogs, a lot of people sunbathing in the summer. It's like 40 degrees out right now, so it's cold, especially for here. Fun fact, it's humid here, so humidity gets you both ways. And when it's hot, the humid air when it's hot is like miserable, and same way with when it's cold. That's when you get like that bone chilling cold. So if you have like a dry heat or a dry cold, it's really not so bad. Anyway, there's a big monument there, a couple little playgrounds. That white building is Calhoun's Square. It's a great place to get like cocktails and such. A little garden area there. Someone had some fun in the grass. But anyway, we're going to look at some more parks later. Just wanted to show you a couple of the interesting parts of Savannah and a few of the squares. But I'll get some more in the days to come. I know these are like just random little filler videos, if you want to call it that, but working on a couple projects, but just wanted to get something out and figure why not a little tour of where I am right now. I'd love to hear about you know, like I said, some interesting parts of your city, what makes it unique, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and things you want to see featured. If you know anything of Savannah, or there's any parts that you want to see, let me know. I'd be happy to do a little bit more, you know, play tour guide, if you will. But there's a lot more to come. I know this is a little bit random, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you soon.